Hello and welcome back. Today we want to discuss the Monty problem and give it a perspective from Bayesian statistics. So first of all, what is the Monty problem? Imagine we are in this game show and we have to choose between three doors. So we have one prize behind one of these three doors and we have two goats or two losses, shall we say. And then the game works as follows. We as a contestant choose one of the three doors initially. Then the moderator will open one of the two remaining doors and will offer us to switch the chosen door that we have. Now we as a contestant need to decide if we want to stick with our original choice or switch to the other door. And then the moderator opens the door. So the question is, are we better off sticking with our original choice or should we change doors? A bit more formally, we have three doors, door 1, door 2, door 3. A prize that is behind a car door L, denoted by CL. The car L is behind door L. The host opens door DK, denoted by host K. And we have a strategy, either switch the door or keep the door. So we assume, without loss of generality, that we always choose door 1 to start with. So it doesn't really matter because we can assign the label door 1, door 2, door 3 in any order, which just makes it simpler for what's to come. So a priori, when the game starts, we don't know anything. So the probability is a third for each door, because the car needs to be behind one of the three doors and is randomly distributed. So what is our goal? We need to compute, given that we always choose door 1, that the car is behind door 1 when the host opens door K, or that the car is behind door L if the host opens door K. So K is either 2 or 3. These are the doors that are opened by the host because we always choose door 1. And L is also 2 or 3, but L cannot be the same as K, because we always choose door 1 initially. It could be any other, but let's stick with 1. And we need to know what the probabilities are that the car is behind our initial choice and that the car is behind one of the other doors. But the host, and this is important, will never reveal the car. So the host knows where the car is. First case, the car is behind the door we originally chose. So we made the right choice initially. So the host needs to open one of the other two doors. Both have a goat because we made initially the right guess. Right? So then it doesn't matter for the host which door he will or she will open. So he does this with a probability of 1/2 because it doesn't make any difference to the progression of the game. The car is already fixed at the door we chose, but he cannot reveal that. Or case 2, the car is behind one of the other doors. So we chose a losing door, the goat, initially, door 1. The host cannot reveal the car, but he or she knows where the car is. He cannot open our door, because this is what we have chosen. He cannot open the door with the car, CL. And L isn't 1, because this is the case we just had. And L isn't K, because the host cannot open the door. So the host has no choice and open the remaining door where he knows that there is the other loser, the goat. Now we use Bayes' theorem to put this all together. So we wanted to get the condition probability that we chose initially, C1, the door with the car, and we made the right choice in the beginning, and the host opens door K. If we want to flip this around, we use Bayes' theorem, because that's then easier to compute. We say that the probability is behind door 1 times the conditional probability of the host opening a door, K, given that the car is behind door 1, divided by the denominator, and the same for door L, the second case. So these two expressions refer to the two cases we have discussed before. Let's start with the denominator, because that's easier to compute and we need that in both cases. It's easier if we use the total law of probabilities and decompose the probability into sort of the the different parts of it. And you're maybe remembering the total law of probabilities, PA, is then the sum of all the conditional probabilities, PA given Bn, times the probability of each occurrence. So if we do that here, we split by the car. So we have PHK is the sum for all three doors that we could have, all three potential cases where the car could be, and the probability of the car being at place I and the host opening door K. So if we now remember that we chose door 1 initially, so if C1 is true, this was our first case, then the remaining probabilities of the host opening one of the remaining two doors and both have a goat, i.e. they lose, is a half, right? Because it doesn't matter for the host which door to open. In the other case, this is what we discussed before, the host cannot reveal the car, the host cannot open our door, so he must open the one remaining door. Now if we put all of that together, we use the total law of probabilities and end up with the denominator being 1/2. Now let's compute the first case again. Now we put everything together. We made the choice door 1, the car is at door 1, the host opens door K. Putting all of that together, a half in the denominator, this is the normalization we just calculated, a half because it doesn't matter for the host which of the two remaining doors to open because we have chosen the door with the car, and a third because this is the a priori probability of the car being behind any of the three doors. So if you do that, that's a third. Now we can look at our intuition and say, well, if this is a third, what's the remaining probability? Because the car has to be behind one of the three doors. There's no such twist to the game that there are just three goats and no car. So if this is a third and we have two doors remaining, then switching must imply that switching is the better strategy of 2/3. Now let's look at that. So how do we calculate the probability that the car is behind door L given that the host opens door K and we have chosen initially door 1? The denominator is now the same, a half. The initial probability, the a priori probability, is still a third because this is what happens when the game starts. And the host now has no choice. He must open the one remaining door with the goat. So this is the 1. The overall probability is 2/3. And as we said, he must open the door which has not the car behind it, so the other probability is 0. So in summary, the initial choice, we say D1, if we don't know behind which door the car is, the a priori probability is 1/3 because the car needs to be somewhere. The host knows where the car is, but he cannot reveal that to us. So either we choose the correct door initially with probability 1/3, or the car is behind the other door that the host has not opened. And since the car has to be somewhere, so the total probability of the car being behind any of the three doors is 1, the remaining probability must be 2/3. It's a bit easier to imagine if instead of 3 doors we have, say, 1,000 doors. And we play the same game, but now we have many more doors. So the host opens all doors but 1. Why would he keep that one closed?